Number 15. A tunnel that killed more workers than almost any project in American history. A wind speed record that stood for 60 years because nothing else on Earth blew that hard. A cave that turned one man's last 17 days into a national headline. Appalachia gets called quaint. Appalachia gets called overlooked. What it doesn't get called nearly enough is what it actually is: one of the most physically punishing landscapes in North America. These are 15 of the most dangerous places in the Appalachian Mountains, ranked, documented, and still active today. If wild geography is your thing, subscribe to Wild States Facts before we start, because by the end of this list, you'll never look at a scenic overlook sign the same way again. Number 15. Nantahala Gorge, North Carolina. The Nantahala River cuts through one of the steepest gorges in the southern Appalachians, and the road running beside it shares the narrow space with an active rail line. Rafters call the river itself manageable for beginners, which is exactly the problem. Sudden water releases from the upstream dam can double the flow in minutes, and the gorge's narrow walls block cell signal almost completely. Add a two-lane road squeezed between cliff and train tracks, and you get a stretch of Appalachia where danger comes from three directions at once: water, rock, and traffic, all sharing 6 feet of space. Number 14. Cheat Canyon, West Virginia. Most rafting guides will run the lower Cheat River with tourists. Almost none will take a beginner into Cheat Canyon. The canyon holds nearly 10 miles of continuous Class 4 and Class 5 rapids, with no real takeout points and no road access for most of its length. If something goes wrong here, help isn't 15 minutes away. It's hours, assuming someone can reach you at all. Local rescue teams treat the canyon as one of the most logistically difficult river stretches in the eastern U.S., not because the rapids are unusually violent, but because there's nowhere to land. Number 13. Seneca Rocks, West Virginia. Seneca Rocks rises nearly 900 feet straight out of the West Virginia hills, a knife edge of quartzite that's been pulling climbers in since the 1930s. It is one of the most popular climbing destinations east of the Mississippi, and also one of the deadliest. Loose rock, sudden wind gusts funneled through the gap, and routes that look easier from the ground than they are have claimed climbers for decades. The formation even has a military history. Soldiers trained here for mountain combat in World War II, because if you could survive Seneca Rocks, the Alps were not going to surprise you. Number 12. Blackwater Falls, West Virginia. The tannin-stained water that gives Blackwater Falls its name looks almost black as it pours over sandstone ledges into a deep gorge. The falls themselves are not the danger. The selfie spots are. Wet rock, steep drop-offs, and visitors stepping past railings for a better photo have led to repeated fatal falls here, often within feet of perfectly safe official viewing platforms. Park rangers have started posting signs that do not just warn people away from the edge. They mention how many people have died trying to get the exact shot you are about to take. Number 11. Mount Rogers Highlands, Virginia. At 5,729 feet, Mount Rogers is the highest point in Virginia, and the terrain up there doesn't feel like Virginia at all. Wind-blasted balds, wild ponies, and weather that can drop 40 degrees in an afternoon make this one of the most exposed alpine environments in the southern Appalachians. The isolation is the real hazard. These trails see far fewer hikers than the popular sections of the Appalachian Trail nearby, which means if you are hurt, you may be waiting a very long time before anyone finds you. Number 10. Dragon's Tooth, Virginia. Dragon's Tooth is a jagged rock spire near Catawba, Virginia, and one of the most photographed overlooks on the entire Appalachian Trail corridor. Reaching the summit requires a scramble up exposed, sometimes wet rock, with nothing but air on either side. It is listed as moderate difficulty on most trail apps. It has also produced multiple fatal falls, usually from hikers climbing past the marked stopping point for a better view. The trail does not warn you that the best picture and the worst decision are usually standing in the exact same spot. Number 9. Hatfield-McCoy Trail System, West Virginia. With over 1,000 miles of interconnected off-road trails, the Hatfield-McCoy Trail System is the largest legal ATV and off-road network in the country, carved straight through some of the most remote terrain in West Virginia's old coal country. Riders come for the isolation. Search and rescue teams dread it for the same reason. Steep grades, blind switchbacks, and stretches with zero cell coverage turn routine accidents into multi-hour rescue operations. The system records rider deaths almost every season, most from collisions or falls on terrain that looks far more forgiving on a map than it is in person. Number 8. Mount Washington, New Hampshire. Technically the northern tip of the Appalachian chain, Mount Washington holds a weather record that stood for over 60 years, a wind gust of 231 miles per hour, the strongest ever measured by a human instrument at the time. The mountain has killed hikers in every single month of the year, including July, because conditions at the summit can shift from sunny to lethal in under an hour. More than 160 deaths have been recorded here since record-keeping began, most from exposure, not falls, meaning most victims did not die from the mountain's terrain. They died from underestimating its sky. Number 7. Tail of the Dragon, Tennessee and North Carolina. 11 miles of U.S. Route 129 near Deals Gap contain 318 curves, more than any comparable stretch of road in the country, which is exactly why it has become a pilgrimage site for motorcyclists and sports car drivers. It is also why a roadside garage nearby keeps something called the Tree of Shame, decorated with broken parts collected from wrecks on the road. Multiple riders die here most years. The road does not have a single straightaway long enough to recover from a mistake, and on a route built almost entirely from blind corners, mistakes happen constantly. Number 6. Devil's Courthouse, North Carolina. This sheer rock outcropping along the Blue Ridge Parkway sits exposed above the tree line, giving a spectacular view and a genuinely serious lightning risk. Devil's Courthouse is one of the most frequently struck points along the entire parkway. The short paved trail to the summit offers almost no shelter if a storm rolls in fast, and in these mountains storms roll in regularly. Add steep drop-offs just past the overlook fence, and the half-mile hike combines two unrelated hazards most visitors never think to prepare for at the same time. Number 5. Sago Mine, West Virginia. In January 2006, an explosion deep inside the Sago mine trapped 13 miners more than 2 miles underground. Only one survived. The disaster exposed how many abandoned sections of Appalachian coal mines still hold pockets of methane gas decades after being sealed, gas that can ignite from a single spark. Sago was not an isolated case. Across the coal fields of West Virginia and Kentucky, old mine workings sit beneath active operations, and the region still reports underground explosions and collapses tied to gas pockets no one mapped correctly the first time. Number 4. Martin County Coal Slurry Spill, Kentucky. In October 2000, a coal waste impoundment in Martin County, Kentucky, broke through into an abandoned underground mine below it, releasing an estimated 300 million gallons of toxic black slurry into nearby creeks and the Tug Fork River. It is considered one of the largest environmental disasters in the eastern United States. It released more sludge than the Exxon Valdez spilled oil, and it happened with almost none of the national attention. Water supplies for thousands of residents were contaminated for months. Similar impoundments built the same way still sit above other Appalachian communities today. Number 3. Sand Cave, Kentucky. In 1925, an experienced caver named Floyd Collins became trapped in a narrow passage of Sand Cave near Mammoth Cave, pinned by a rockfall he could not see and could not move. Rescue crews worked for over 2 weeks while newspapers across the country ran daily updates, turning his entrapment into one of the first major media spectacles in American history. He died just days before rescuers could reach him. The cave systems beneath this part of Kentucky remain some of the most extensive and least mapped in the world. The same narrow, collapsing passages that trapped Collins are still down there. Number 2. Chimney Tops, Fire, Tennessee. In November 2016, a small fire started near the Chimney Tops Trail in the Great Smoky Mountains, and, fed by drought conditions and hurricane-force winds from a storm system over 1,000 miles away, exploded into the deadliest wildfire in Tennessee history. It tore into Gatlinburg with almost no warning, killing 14 people and destroying over 2,500 structures in a matter of hours. The fire proved something most visitors never consider. Appalachia's thick, unburned forests and increasingly erratic weather can turn one of the wettest mountain ranges in the country into a firestorm almost overnight. Number 1. Hawk's Nest Tunnel, West Virginia. Between 1930 and 1932, workers drilled a 3-mile hydroelectric tunnel through solid silica rock near Gauley Bridge, West Virginia, without masks, without ventilation breaks, and largely without being told what the dust was doing to their lungs. Officially, 109 workers died from acute silicosis. Historians who have spent decades studying the project believe the real number is several times higher, with most victims being black migrant laborers buried in unmarked graves nearby. It is considered the worst industrial disaster in American history, and most people standing at the scenic overlook above the tunnel today have never heard of it. That's exactly why it's number 1. That's 15 places where Appalachia's geography, history, and bad luck collided into something genuinely dangerous, and most of them never make it onto a typical travel list. If you live near one of these or know a place that should have made the cut, drop it in the comments. We read all of them. And if wild, real geography is your thing, subscribe. We're covering every state one dangerous, fascinating place at a time. See you in the next one.